So, what if I told you that the very thing you're chasing, happiness, is actually the source of your misery? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into a pretty radical idea from the 19th century that just might flip everything you think you know about modern anxiety right on its head.
All right, let's just jump right in. We live in a world that is completely obsessed with the chase, right? The chase for more joy, more pleasure, more likes, more validation. But what if that whole chase is a trap? A game that's actually designed so you can never, ever win. It just leaves you feeling tired and like you're never quite good enough.
The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, he had a really bleak diagnosis for this whole situation. He said that happiness is what's called a fata morgana, basically a fancy word for an elaborate mirage. You see it shimmering way off in the distance, so you run towards it, but the closer you get, poof, it just disappears, and you're left right back where you started, except now you're dealing with very real things like pain, loss, and disappointment.
This quote from Voltaire just hits the nail on the head. For Schopenhauer, pain wasn't just, the absence of pleasure. No, he thought pain was the real, tangible, undeniable part of life. And pleasure? Well, that's just the temporary break you get when the pain stops for a second.
So if chasing happiness is a total dead end, what's the alternative? Well, Schopenhauer proposed this really radical solution, this total 180-degree turn in perspective that we can call the great inversion. It's all about completely changing the goal of your life. And here it is, the core of the great inversion. Stop chasing moments of joy. Seriously. The truly smart strategy is to systematically hunt down and remove the things that are definitely causing you pain. The goal isn't to feel super happy. The goal is to just feel less unhappy.
Okay, that sounds interesting in theory, but how do you actually do that? Let's break this powerful idea down into a few practical core rules you can actually use to navigate the world.
The very first rule. This one's all about how you build your happiness. Think of it like building a house. You need a solid foundation.
Schopenhauer's advice is to build your happiness on the smallest, narrowest foundation possible. And why would you do that? Because every single thing you decide you need to be happy, that specific job, a certain amount of money, that one relationship, is basically another target for life to shoot at. The fewer things you need, the less power bad luck has over you.
All right, rule number 2 is a big one. This one completely redefines how we think about other people and really society as a whole.
Now, Schopenhauer was a huge fan of solitude. He believed that being in society forces us to compromise, to fit in, to kind of shrink ourselves down to be liked. He argued it's only when we're completely alone that we can be our true, authentic selves. For him, being comfortable in your own company wasn't just nice to have. It was the essential ingredient for real freedom.
And rule number 3, this is a really powerful mental trick. It's a practical exercise you can do to feel more grateful, but without any of that, toxic positivity nonsense.
This is such a simple but profound mental flip. Instead of looking at what other people have and feeling jealous, Schopenhauer says you should look at what you already have, your health, your friends, your home, and actively imagine what it would feel like to lose it. In that moment of imagined loss, you suddenly feel its true incredible value. You start to appreciate it not as something you need to upgrade, but as a precious gift you have right now.
So let's do a quick recap. Limit your wants, learn to enjoy your own company, and practice gratitude by imagining loss. These rules kind of come together to form a defensive toolkit for life. But the big question is, does this 19th century pessimism actually hold up in our world today?
What's pretty wild is how ahead of his time Schopenhauer was. Look at how his main ideas have been repackaged for the 21st century. Defensive pessimism, that's just anticipating the worst so you're better prepared. Minimalism, that's all about limiting your wishes to find freedom. And the joy of missing out, or JOMO, that's just a modern way of saying you value solitude over being at every single social event. It's a really compelling system, for sure. But, we gotta be honest here. Is this philosophy the perfect guide to life? Or does it have some pretty serious blind spots that could actually hold you back? Let's poke some holes in it.
And this right here really lays out the core conflict, doesn't it? On one hand, in the pros column, this philosophy gives you this amazing sense of resilience and calm. But then you look at the cons column and you see the big critique. It could make you passive, afraid to take risks, and cause you to miss out on all the amazing growth and joy that can only come from struggling and reaching for something great.
So the takeaway here isn't that you should become some miserable hermit who hates everything. Not at all. The real value is in using these ideas selectively, almost like building a mental shield to protect yourself from all the unique anxieties of our modern world.
So here's a practical 4-step system you can use to put this into practice. First, just ask yourself, what do I need for a calm life, not a happy one? Second, do a ruthless audit of your desires. What can you cut? Third, start strategically backing out of social stuff that you know just drains your battery. And finally, once a week, pick something you value and run that powerful thought exercise. What if this was gone tomorrow?
And that really leaves us with a final provocative question to chew on. What do you really want out of life? Do you want the chaotic, thrilling highs that, let's be honest, often come with devastating lows? Or would you prefer the quiet, steady, resilient peace that comes from a life that's been carefully designed to minimize suffering? The choice, of course, is yours.